What I'm starting to see with this that's like blowing my mind is what I'm about to show you next. I'm going to show you just in Obsidian because it's going to be much easier and it's much more visually. That's why I have kind of the setup. And if this is something that's like super critical and you want to do this down the road, let me know in this video and I'll probably create a follow-up video of like how to set this up step by step. But I wanted to show you what's possible so you can see if it's even worth your time. I used to spend 10 hours every week writing marketing content, LinkedIn posts. It was endless. Last week, I generated 30 LinkedIn posts in 15 minutes and did the same thing with 12 YouTube video outlines, including SEO research, AEO research, thumbnail designs, and full scripts. Same quality, 95% of the time less, okay? So what I'm gonna do is walk you through today, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to do the following, right? Number one is what's possible with Claude Code outside of coding, right? How can I use it for marketing, sales, go-to-market, general business functions? Number two is how I actually use it, right? I'm gonna show you a really simple example. There's a couple different modes which you could operate in now with Claude Code. However, and it's becoming simpler and simpler than it was before. And then number three, I'm gonna show you how you could leverage the concept of the mega prompt to take a conversation that you have to create batch content that's running in the background. Like I actually did this yesterday, literally while taking my dog for a walk. It was running in the background and operated and was done by the time I got back. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ryan Staley, and I have been leading AI transformations for companies, specifically for go-to-market and executive teams over the last 3 years. Worked with in excess of now 2,500 different executives, ranging from $20 billion companies all the way to startups. So today, I'm really excited to walk through with you. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you kind of what was the tipping point in terms of having me understand this. I think it's really critical because one of the areas that is happening so fast in this world right now, there's so much noise in so many different areas. This article came out, actually, if you look at it, it was July 24th, 2025. So this was a few months back. And the interesting thing, and this is what really started to get me, is like how Anthropic, which is the creator of Claude and Claude Code, actually uses this. And as you can see, they have everything from code-based navigation, understanding, testing, coding review, okay, debugging. Okay, I was like, all right, whatever. Future prototyping, documentation. Okay, this is what started to get my attention, automation and workflow design, all right? The one thing that I saw within there is, you see this, the growth marketing team. I'm like, this is really interesting. And I was like, all right, well, what's the value in using something like this versus a normal deep research agent or another capability? So then what happened is you could dig in deeper, and there's actually a guide that Anthropic created with Claude Code for growth marketing. One of the things they identify is the things they use it for: ads creative, Figma plugin for mass creative production, meta ads with MCP, advanced prompt engineering with memory systems. Okay, none of these are applicable to my business right now. I just wanted to create some damn content. But if it had the ability to do these things, in my mind, I was like, all right, this is a big opportunity in other areas, right? Like it could be content, it could be research, it could be doing a lot of things at scale autonomously, which is what this talks about. So I started to experiment with it, watched different YouTube videos, started testing it out. One time, I literally went through a YouTube video. It took me 2 hours to go through 15, 20 minutes, but it enabled me to set it up and start using it. Luckily for you, there's a couple different ways where you could access Claude Code right now. If you have Claude, you only need a $20 plus membership. I just recently upgraded to the $100 membership because I'm starting to use it more and more. Now, what you can see over here on the left is you just got to click on this icon that says code, and then this little screen will pop up. Now you can start to use this in, oh, look at this. I never realized the little crab kind of moved around when you did. It has different areas where it basically has the chat sessions here, and it was only usually done before in basically the command line interface, which I'm going to show you that. And that's what's most intimidating and keeps most people away from this. However, this is a capability right in there that you can now use. At the same time, you have the ability to connect your GitHub, which I used to be intimidated by GitHub. GitHub is just where you store your code. It doesn't need to just be code, but it can be other areas. I'm going to show you how I actually use Obsidian and connect to that. So it basically illustrates the content in a real clear and crystallized way that makes it easy to digest. Okay. So the only downside with Claude Code directly in the Anthropic interface, besides this really cool crab, this is the upside, is I've noticed it doesn't integrate with my local files as well as it could. So this is something I'm still working through. This was just released about a week ago. So I'm going to close this for now, and I'm going to show you what I do on the command line interface. Okay, so this is what you're seeing here. It's gonna look a little intimidating. It was for me, but basically the thing that I discovered was that with this capability, once I set this up and I used, basically, if you look at it, I'm using this basically Windows. This is on Windows. They have it for Mac as well. But basically, you just got to go to the website, Anthropic's website, and click on Claude Code, and then it'll have you upload a file and copy that file. And then what you could do is paste that into one of these interfaces. Now, I ran into some issues when setting it up. So I basically would take a screenshot, put it in Claude and say, what am I doing wrong? And it helped me actually get it up and running really relatively quickly, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Okay. But now that it's set up, if you look at this, I basically just went in there and you just talk to it like you would a normal chatbot, like you would Claude or ChatGPT or anything else, right? So I would say the biggest barrier to start is getting it set up, and that's probably about 15, 20 minutes. Like I said, it takes, depending on how your computer's configured. But then what this operates as is an operating system across your entire computer. And I'm going to show you really quick, just to give you an example. This is Obsidian, and Obsidian is basically like a localized area where I could have a vault of data and information of different contexts and ideas that's stored locally on my computer. Now, what you can do is you can set this up, and what it'll do is it'll basically set up, and this is actually the outline for this video that I had it create. So it's kind of a meta video, but what you're seeing is basically it'll go through and create it and write it out of that like command line interface into a much more professional friendly way to do it, so that it's visually a lot more appealing. So I'm going to walk you through this, and there's a couple core elements I really want to focus on for you, because this is really going to be a massive unlock to so many different parts of your business. And as you probably saw, I just did Claude Code last week, or I should say Claude Skills last week. And that was one of the most critical things. So I'm going to start there. Instead of skills, which basically you can use skills, but one of the things is with skills is basically all they are is context and how to operate. So the one thing that I did is I basically had this created as a skill, if you will, for Claude Code. And basically what it is, it's just how I want a long form outline for YouTube. And as you can see, it kind of walks through the required format, what I'm looking for, why is it important, thumbnail description, design, all these different areas, right? And it even has quality guidelines. So the beautiful thing about it is now I could say, hey, Claude Code, I want you to generate a long form outline on this topic, okay? Now I could have it research, like go research 3 articles and then write the outline for me, or I could basically just give it the topic. And so if you look at it, that's what I actually did here. I basically said, design a video outline using Claude long form outline template, but make it on how I use Claude Code 100x my marketing in 50 minutes. So within this, all I did is said, reference the file that I gave you that is kind of like the design setup. And this is to be based on my experience of rapidly creating content through using Claude Code in context. So as you can see, what happens is I then had to give it the location of the file. So that's going to be really important, because if you look on this, and I'll pull this up, the good thing about it is the file on your computer, and I'm sourcing to it, so you don't have to see me going through all the other areas while I'm talking. But what you're going to see here is like I have a file that I created called, in my documents folder, called documents, agent content, and then within Ryan's notes are all different areas that I have. The beautiful thing about it is when it's updated in here, it automatically updates in Obsidian. As you can see, the ideas folder of all these different areas is very similar to, and actually is exactly the same as this ideas folder. So basically, that's the way that you can kind of reference this. And so you could effectively have Claude Code look at files off your computer and then transform it and put it into that kind of Obsidian writer-friendly context, okay? So what you're gonna see here is I had it reference that file and that location with the exact examples. Then what it did, and I'll show you the Obsidian version again, then what it did is it went through and created the whole video outline, questions that I'll have. And as you can see, this is not like the most user-friendly version of what it is, but it's basically got a whole outline of this, okay? And then basically at the end of it, I said, hey, I don't see it in the folder. Can you please make sure it's in there? And then it updated the folder and put it within there, right? so I could verify that. So that's how it operates. It really operates exactly like a chatbot. I'm going to wrap things up now, but I want to summarize this for you and say, like, all right, is this for me? Is this worth learning? Is this worth understanding? There's so many unlocks. My answer is yes. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because what I'm seeing is this is the promise of the agent of autonomous work being done. And I'm going to continue to stretch this. And oh, by the way, there's been events where this is actually run for 30 hours straight. I'm not there yet, right? I'm still testing, growing, understanding, and I'm not coding like for 30 hours straight. So I'm like, all right, how can I leverage this for different parts of what I do, my business, and the people I serve? And so that's what I'm getting lit up. And so I'm going to continue to expand and work on this. But early indications are what I'm seeing is this is freaking amazing. And the cost to use it is insanely low. Okay. I saw that basically this is like $20 for Pro that you need to use and you have access to it. You could eventually upgrade to $100 if you want to per month, or $200. I did that. And like I said, the ROI is going to be there at the $20 mark just to get your kind of feet wet. And like I said, let me know in the comments below if this is one of the areas where you want me to go through setup, like really basic 100 level, like how to use Claude Code for marketing. And I could set that up, walk you through, do a quick explainer, and do that. So once again, if you want to stay in the loop for things like this, check out below. Feel free to sign up for my newsletter. You'll get these drops every week, and I'll include resources, prompts, use cases, things like that, so that you can start to really explode your AI usage. So really appreciate you joining me today, and we'll see you all on the next video.